Big up, everyone. Welcome back to another stream on Shik TV. Welcome back to another Stretford Chronicles episode. It's been actually a while since I've done one of these episodes, but basically, this show is everything regarding Manchester United, all the news that we've been hearing throughout throughout this week. I know it's only Tuesday, it's only Wednesday, but all the stuff that we basically heard this past week. I don't know if you guys know, but I've been away for the past 2 weeks as well, so I haven't been able to give my thoughts on a lot of the things that have been going on with the club. But we're here for that. So there's a lot of news that we are going to cover today. Obviously, before we do get into that, make sure you guys do run up the likes, subscribe as always. Keep supporting the channel. You guys have shown a lot of love even when I was away. When Spooby was holding down the Mud Brothers show, you guys showed some great support, some love over there. So keep supporting, keep helping us, and we're gonna continue to grow as a channel together. So yeah, Stretford Chronicles, you can kind of tell from the title of the video, a couple of things we are going to discuss. Obviously, we did play against Bournemouth this past Monday, which was a 4-4 draw, 8-goal Premier League classic thriller at Old Trafford. I'm going to be completely honest, so I did not watch the game live. I have watched the game back. I was traveling back to the States on that day, specifically, literally at that time is when I was traveling. So I wasn't able to watch it back, but we are here. We're going to talk a little bit about that game, specifically about certain things that happened in that game. We're going to be talking about AFCON. Obviously, AFCON coming up. Our players are leaving. How are we going to set up? What lineup are we going to put out? I'm pretty much going to give my predictions and stuff on that. KOBBIE Mainoo, his brother, with some controversial stuff during that game at Bournemouth at Old Trafford, coming out with that free KOBBIE Mainoo t-shirt during the game, and it was posted online and it was there for everyone to see. Bruno Fernandes with some interesting quotes coming out yesterday. I don't think he said these things yesterday. I think these are quotes that took like, these are things that were said by him quite earlier on in the season, but they've just, for whatever reason, I guess, decided to be leaked now. I'm not sure. Maybe it could be that he said all these things. I just haven't actually seen like an interview or a clip of him saying whatever he said. But we have some Bruno Fernandes quotes that we're going to get into. And then Ruben Amorim, a couple of things about him, his press conference and where he was talking about the youth. And also a potential system change that we might be hearing, something that we heard this past weekend, that during training they did switch to a 4-3-3. Towards the end of the game against Bournemouth, we were actually set up in a 4-3-3. So I'm going to be giving my thoughts on pretty much all of these things. But like I said, keep supporting the channel. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, share across socials, all that type of stuff. Let them know Shik TV is live and we're back. But we're pretty much going to get into it. So first thing that we are going to discuss, shout out to Daniel as well in the chat. He says Mainoo being linked with Chelsea again. I think it's only because Garnacho was there. Yeah, I think that, and also, like, I feel like you guys just have interest in Mainoo. It makes sense because it was something that you guys had before too. There's just been interest. Obviously, a player of his quality is making it be known that he doesn't want to be at this club currently and he wants game time. I'm sure a lot of Premier League clubs, because he's a great talent, would be, ready to try to get him. And Chelsea obviously was already linked with him before. So I'm not surprised that these links are coming up again. I still think he doesn't go to a Premier League team. I don't think we end up, if we do end up getting rid of him in January on loan, we don't send him to a Premier League team. We probably do send him abroad. Napoli looks like they are the biggest suitors. Napoli just have an absolute fucking obsession with taking players that don't want to be here at Manchester United, and they take them, and they actually turn out to be a decent level. Hence, like Scott McTominay and Rasmus Højlund scoring the goals that he's scoring for Napoli this season. So looks like Mainoo might be that, but I don't think he goes to Chelsea in all honesty. And to be honest, I think Mainoo's just waiting for Ruben Amorim to get sacked. That's why he wants to do more of a loan deal rather than a full-on transfer. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen, is we're going to end up maybe doing a loan deal. However, I think it's going to be crazy though, because we're losing players to AFCON, and we might be selling players this January too. So it's kind of crazy. But he might do I only want to join a certain team like Garnacho did. Yeah, I mean, for him, the thing is he wants game time. And I think he'll get game time pretty much anywhere he goes because he's a quality midfielder who should be starting week in, week out. This is a guy who played in the Euro final, started in the Euro finals. Yeah, he's someone who should be getting game time regardless. So I think he'll get that game time, to be honest, anywhere he goes. But I genuinely don't think he goes to Chelsea. I don't think our club allows that to happen. Anywhere that we do send him will be a loan deal, so it would make no sense for him to go to Chelsea unless you guys are looking to pay quite a lot or whatever in terms of a transfer fee. But I don't think he goes to Chelsea. If he does go anywhere, it's probably most likely going to be Napoli. They've been the ones that have had a consistent interest for the past month or so, even maybe a month and a half, when these rumors started coming up that Mainoo is unhappy here and he wants to leave. Napoli were there, and it seems like Napoli are potentially maybe going to get him. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so we'll start off with the Bruno quotes. We'll get to that real quick. Let's see a couple of things. He was obviously waffling because that's something that he fucking does all the time. Shout out to BX Gunner as well. Big up to you in the chat. He says Conte knows a winner. Yeah, man. Conte knows a Manchester United player that he can turn around. I'll tell you that. Like, he knows that. Look at the way he's turned around Scott McTominay. Funny story, actually. I went to Naples as part of my European tour, my trip that I just did that I came back from 2 days ago. I went to Naples. And anybody you ask there, like, obviously, having a couple of conversations about football, Napoli, talking to them about all that type of stuff. Once I tell them that I'm a Manchester United fan, they all just tell me, yeah, thank you for Scott McTominay. Thank you for Rasmus Højlund. Because these guys are doing business there. So, and they could be well underway on winning another league title this season as well. So, we'll see, man. We'll see. But Bruno Fernandes' quotes, let me pull this up real quick. We're going to dissect them. And I'm going to give my thoughts about this because I have a lot to say about this, to be honest. Let's see. You guys have any questions? Obviously, do drop them in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions regarding any of the type of quotes or whatever we are going to discuss. But cool. So we've got this right here. Let me pull this up real quick. Change the background. There we go. Cool. So, all right. So these were December 16th. So pretty much 2 days ago itself, we got these. Well, not even 2 days ago. Yesterday is when these quotes actually really dropped. More so a little bit after the game, which I think, by the way, the timing of these quotes is a little bit interesting, to be honest. Because and I'll tell you why I think the timing of these quotes are a little bit interesting, right? So just to read the quotes itself, Bruno Fernandes said that Manchester United wanted me to leave last summer. I have that in my head. I told the directors this, but I think they didn't have the courage to make that decision. I decided to stay also because of family reasons, but because I genuinely like the club. The conversation with the manager also made me stay. But from the club side, I felt a bit like if you leave, it's not so bad for us. It hurts me a lot, more than hurting. It makes me sad because I'm a player they have nothing to criticize about. I'm always available. I always play good or bad. I give my all. Then you see things around you, players who don't value the club as much and don't defend the club as much. That makes you sad. So, a lot of stuff that he's pretty much talking about in these quotes, right? So just from the beginning, Manchester United apparently wanted him to leave last summer. So that's pretty clear. It's pretty evident. I think part of the club did want him to leave when we were hearing the reports about the Saudi bid, the Al Hilal bids, the 100 million that was on the table. It took some time because I think it was like over maybe a couple of weeks where we didn't really find out what was going to happen regarding this, whether the decision had already been made. I think it was solely pretty much down to Bruno at the end, where Bruno was pretty much given the choice that, if you want to stay, you can stay. Manager wants you to stay, this and that. These were all things that were pretty much said to him. Now, this is the problem that I have with this, right? And you guys know this. I don't rate Bruno Fernandes. I don't rate how his career has turned out at this club. I was part of the group of people that said we should have sold him in the summer. I mean, bro, like, it's 100 million for a 30-plus-year-old player who I don't think still has it at the top level. And we said no to that. And we could have used that money, considering the fact that we've heard this club complain about financial problems in this past summer to our inability to sign certain players and spend more money than we already did. 100 million would have helped us a lot, to be honest. And I was part of those group of people that was vouching for this to happen. I was also under the belief that this genuinely could happen. And I'll tell you why. It's because for one time in so far of Bruno Fernandes's career, and just in one time in the past couple of years, I actually felt like whatever he's saying was true, that Manchester United actually did think about selling him. And it makes sense because one, we had just come off a very, very, very abysmal season where he was the captain. We just lost a European final as well, where he was the captain. Not only was it the first one that he lost, but it was the second one that he actually lost at the club. Um, the vibes at that time for the club, for fan base was in shambles, right? Fan base was all over the place. Some of them still are trying to say Ruben needs time, this and that. I was more on the side of, whether he wins the Europa League, whether he doesn't win the Europa League, we need to sack this manager. Okay. um I think from all the instances in the past, we were very, very close to actually selling him. I think Ineos looked at this entire situation and were maybe like, okay, I think maybe now it's time for us to move on from Bruno Fernandes. Now, if that was the case, right? If that was the case, that you have a feeling, so I'm going to talk a little bit about Ineos real quick before I get to Bruno. If that was the case, and you had a feeling, if it was the slightest of doubts or the slightest of feelings that you want to get rid of Bruno Fernandes, why didn't you do it? Who's the employer? You or the coach or Bruno? Why is it that you don't have the balls to make a decision like this? To be honest, what he's saying is true. This part right here, I told the directors this, but I didn't think they had the courage to make that decision. He's spot on. He is spot on about that. And obviously, like, I'm not taking his side when I'm saying that he's spot on about this. I'm on the stance of, yes, they are cowards, because this decision should not go down to anybody else but you guys. You guys were the ones who took over this club. You guys talked about all these different things and changes that you wanted to make to the club. Change a culture, change, players, and get in new players and all that type of stuff, right? You wanted to change a lot of things when you first came in. Another thing that you wanted to do was back this manager, which you did. And I think in this situation, what they did was back this manager. They didn't really listen to Bruno. They wanted to get rid of Bruno, but it wasn't down to them and it wasn't down to Bruno. It was honestly down to the manager. He said it himself. I decided to stay because of family reasons. There were rumors at that time that his wife did not want to move to Saudi because it's a completely different lifestyle, all that type of stuff. They weren't used to it. She didn't want to move to Saudi. So that was something that they had. But he says it himself, I had a conversation with the manager and that also made me stay. And it makes sense. It makes sense with how we've been seeing Ruben treating Bruno, and we've been seeing how Ruben treats Dallo, and how he has certain favorites in the club, and all of these type of things, right? It makes sense to me, at least. So listen, why are Ineos putting this type of decision in someone else's hands? That's the issue that I have with them. You are the employers of this club. You are at the forefront. You are the ones who should be making all these decisions. We didn't hire a CEO, a sporting director, Omar Barada, all these different people for you guys to eventually put a decision like this into a hands of a manager. Not only are you putting into a hands of just like a manager, but you're also putting it into a hands of a manager who's shown you nothing last season, who had one of the worst win percentages, one of the worst Manchester United managers pretty much of all time last season. The only difference is that we just didn't get relegated. And the only reason why we didn't get relegated was because there were actually teams that were worse than us, which were the championship sides. So how are you saying all these things about the club, that you want to turn things around, you want to make a new stadium, you're cutting jobs, this and that, you're doing all these things to try to help the club. But when there's 100 million sitting on the table for a player who's not even anywhere near worth 100 million, I don't think anybody in in the chat right now, Lou Man, BX Gunner, Daniel would even think of paying 100 million even on FIFA. You're not even gonna pay 100 million on FIFA for Bruno Fernandes, let alone in real life. Shit's a bargain. Like, it's a steal, dog. Like, it's a no-brainer of a decision that you would take 100 million for a player who's way past his prime, 31 years old, probably is not going to play at the highest level again. It's a no-brainer. But you guys fumbled it. And you guys are cowards. And you guys didn't actually have the courage to make a decision like this. Who cares what the fans think? Genuinely, who cares what I think? I voice my opinion because I voice my opinion. I have a right, I have a platform to do this, right? That's why I voice my opinion. You, though, as owners, should not be listening to what fans are saying. You should be listening to yourselves. You need to be making logical decisions about this club in terms of turning it around. You speak so much about culture and all these type of things. Well, the culture at Manchester United currently is that we have poor players at our club who've gotten away with a living because you have put them on, because they've been put on massive contracts before, this and that, and they get too comfortable at the club. That's why there's no hunger. That's why there's no fight. That's why there's no motivation for a lot of these players sometimes. Look at his reason for staying at the club. I genuinely like the club. That's it. There's no other reason for him to stay. I genuinely like the club. I've done all this and I've done all that. I'm going to get to that real quick. But yeah, Ineos, this whole situation of you guys not selling Bruno Fernandes and all that type of stuff, I have nobody but to blame but you. You guys had this decision to make and you fumbled it and you bottled it. That's really just what it is. And now we're hearing quotes like this where he's calling you out. You can't really say anything because you didn't have the courage to get him gone. And it was pretty clear and evident that you did want to get him gone and you thought about it. And we've seen this type of energy before. And I'll be so honest, we have. Because if you guys remember, Ten Hag's situation, they met up with different managers and they still decided to keep him. So you spoke to Tuchel, you spoke to De Zerbi, you spoke to all these different managers prior to you even making a decision of keeping Ten Hag or not keeping Ten Hag. But eventually you ended up keeping him anyways. And that also showed me that you guys didn't have the courage to make a big decision like this. Because one, maybe you were caught up in how the fans are going to feel. Maybe you got caught up in how it would look in terms of PR. Fuck all those things, man. Our club is in the ruins. Like, genuinely, our club is in the absolute ruins. And you guys are sitting here caring about things like PR, what the fans feel, all that type of stuff. Act like the employer and make those type of decisions. Simple as that. You don't pay... Ruben Amorim doesn't pay you. Bruno Fernandes doesn't pay you. You pay Ruben and you pay Bruno Fernandes. So act like that. But we already know that these guys are cowards. And it's nothing of a surprise really to me. They took so long in terms of sacking Ten Hag as well. And they're going to probably take their long, sorry-ass time in sacking Ruben as well. And this is just how it's going to be. And we've seen their energy towards situations like this. And it doesn't tell you like they know how to run a club. I'll tell you that. And just forget running a club. This is not just even a club. This is one of the clubs in the world, Manchester United, where you honestly can't afford to have and make decisions like this. So that's the Ineos part of it. Now let's get to the Bruno part of this, because this is going to be very, very interesting, right? And I'm going to bring up these quotes as well. Big up to you, Wesley, bro. Every single time. Big up to you. Every single time. Big up to Lou Man as well. Big up to everyone. Make sure you guys are running up the likes, subscribing if you haven't already, all that stuff, right? Now, Bruno's part of this, where I'm hearing all these things about I decided to stay because of family reasons, because I genuinely like the club. The conversation with the manager also made me stay, but from the club side, I feel a bit like if you leave, it's not so bad for us, right? A couple of more things. He feels hurt about how the situation has gone. And I understand that from his perspective, especially if you are having, all these different type of situations and all of that. I understand why he would, feel this way. He's been captain at the club for a while. He's been through a lot of different, stages for our club, even though we've been shit throughout all of them. I get it. I get it why he would feel something like this. Now, on the same end of the quotes, You see things, he said, then you see things around you, players who don't value the club as much and don't defend the club as much. That makes you sad. I think that he's throwing his teammates under the bus. Why was that just so that was just so unnecessary for you to mention? You're basically trying to say that I really love this club. And I love this club so much that I show more passion than some of the other teammates at this club. And I care about this club more than them. Why am I getting treated this way? I think that's just a bunch of BS. I think that's just so easy for you to say. And it's just such an easy route for you to take and just throw people. It's so easy for someone to throw your peers and your teammates and the people that, trust you and put faith in you because you are the club captain and you are the captain of this. And it's just where I'm like, you're a coward, bro. You're a bitch for doing that. Genuinely, you are. Wesley says, "Why is it you never chat about the Arsenal? They're wildly more impressive than us at United." No, I do. It's just, well, obviously this is the Stretford Chronicles show where we do discuss everything Manchester United. I do have the Mud Brothers show where we do discuss Arsenal, and sometimes here and there we do shows with different panelists and all that type of stuff. So that's just really it. Is this show itself is just United related, right? He also says, I honestly think Bruno sat down and saw how much Salah got airplay when he did and said the same. So he grabbed the same script and replaced the name with his own. Please check it out. Please check his out. Yeah, no, I think definitely maybe the whole Salah situation has a little bit, in play because he just seen what happened with Salah and all that type of stuff. I think one, the timing of this is super, super funny. And I'll tell you why. It's because these quotes and I think the whole idea of why these quotes have come out is because they want to paint Bruno as a hero. They want to paint Bruno as someone who's not been wrong in this situation. Bruno as someone who's been treated wrong and who's, been done wrong by and all of those type of things, considering, what's been going on at the club, and also considering these quotes came out pretty much right after the Bournemouth game. How did the Bournemouth game go? The Bournemouth game was 4-4, but there was a time where we were trailing and Bruno scored a free kick to crawl us back. What does that tell me? It's a hero or a savior and all these type of things that our fan base likes to say. I think it's super interesting that these quotes come out after a game like this where he was regarded as the savior and he crawled us back into this game and all this type of thing. I just think it's very interesting that quotes and the timing of these quotes would be that. Now to get to Bruno real quick, right? This is fine. If he looked at Salah and he looked at this whole situation and he wanted to, try to put the same script and all that type of stuff, cool, right? Now, let me show you guys something because I remember this and I remember this vividly, very clearly. I remember this like it was yesterday. Bruno Fernandez, you are a liar. I'll make myself full screen for this because I think I'm going to make a clip for this. Bruno Fernandez, you are a liar. And I'll tell you why you are a liar. Because I'm going to bring up some quotes that you had 2 years ago when we were in a similar situation like this, when your credibility and the team's credibility was under question. You had some quotes, you had some things to say. And I'm going to bring up these quotes real quick. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And I want you guys to see this. Let's see. All right. I literally saw this like yesterday. Where is it? Okay, right here. So yeah, I want you guys to see this real quick. Let's see. Okay, so this was back in May 2024. So this is when Ten Hag was actually still at the club at that time too. May 2024 would tell me that this is basically after the FA Cup final, if I'm not wrong. So, yeah. So obviously, headline is Bruno Fernandes makes statement on Manchester United future as Eric Ten Hag admits that he has to carry the team. Right? Okay. Can you guys see this real quick right here? Actually, let me zoom it. Let me zoom it. I got you guys. Zoom, zoom. Oh, zoom. There we go. What does this say right here, people? Chat. What does this say right here? Manchester United captain Fernandes says, if for some reason they don't want to have me, I will go. But if they want me, I will stay. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. So if for some reason they don't want me here, I will go. But now you feel like they don't want you here. So why did you stay? Right? Why did you stay? Also, if you love the club so much, right? If you do, if you love the club so much, this and that, all that type of stuff, cool. You said that it had nothing to do with, you stayed because you love the club, right? And all of that, and you've done so much for the club, and you've given your all for the club, and all of those type of things, right? If you love the club so much, why did you look at this situation? And why didn't you look at this situation and you were like, you know what? This club is getting 100 million. This club needs new players. I like Ruben, right? I like Ruben. I like Ruben as a manager. I think the club should back him, this and that. Why didn't you see this whole situation, see the 100 million and be like, okay, this 100 million for me can help out the club. I had my time and whatever I had with Manchester United, cool. I did. It didn't work out fine. I'm past my prime. Let me use this 100 million and help the club and they can buy players, this and that. I will still support the club even when I'm gone, all of these type of things. We've seen this happen with so many players in the past. We have seen this happen. If you love the club so much, why did you say shit like this in May? And then now you're also saying that you think the club doesn't want you here, but you're still here. That's why I call you a liar. That's why I call you a liar. You're a liar. You said clearly if for some reason people don't want you here, you would leave. So why are you still here? Why are you still here? Couldn't tell you guys. I really couldn't tell you. But I don't forget. And I don't know, a lot of people aren't really talking about these type of quotes, but I don't forget, man. It's clear as day. It's on the internet. You can go anywhere and find these quotes. These quotes were said. If for some reason they don't want to have me, I will go. But if they want me, I will stay. You think they don't want you right now. Why are you still here? You said this, by the way, in the summer. You felt in the summer that they didn't want you here. Why are you still here? Why? And I blame Ineos for that. I do. Because they were the ones who enabled this as well. They gave this decision to make to Ruben. Why are you giving this to Ruben? Now they're 100% is more to this story. 100%. 100%. Basically sounds like Bruno stayed out of spite. Yeah, it does. It does. It does. But it's like the timing, like it's the timing of these quotes for me, and I just think it's so fucking convenient for any player after a situation like this to just come out and be like, yeah, the club in the summer just didn't, didn't want me here, this and all that type of stuff. Like, come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. Big up to you, Favorite Football TV. His agent was basically in Dubai for months and he was just going back and forth without giving Saudi an answer because he didn't know what to do. He was under doubt. Didn't he post something on Instagram as well? Did he post something on Instagram chat? I swear he did. I swear he did. 1 second. 1 second. After the Europa League final, I'm pretty sure he posted something on Instagram. Instagram after Europa League final. If you guys can help me find this, please help me find this, because he had some quote. I know he posted something on Instagram. I know he did. I know this guy did. Mm, let's see. Fuck, I can't find it. Fuck, I can't find it. What was it? I can't find it, bro. But I swear he had said something too. Fuck, man. Yeah. I mean, ultimately I was gonna get to this too. I just think this all just points to a Bruno exit some sooner or later, to be honest. Fucking hell. If he can go in January, that would be absolutely amazing. Because then I would feel like Ruben would have no choice but to play KOBBIE Mainoo. If he can go in January, that'd be fucking sensational. Yeah, exactly this. Exactly this, Ed. Exactly this. Ineos are a bunch of fucking cowards, bro. Act like you are the employer. How many times do I have to say this? Act like you are the employer. Why are you putting this into a First of all, why are you putting this decision into a hands of a manager, let alone hands of a manager? Two, why are you putting this decision, even if you decide to put this decision under a hands of a manager, put it into a hands of a manager who's actually shown you something. You put this decision into a hands of a manager that ain't done fuck all last season. He had the worst win percentage. This guy is worse than Gary Neville at Valencia. This guy was worse than Gary Neville at Valencia last season. Like if you think that, like, if you had this slightest of doubt that should we keep Bruno, should we not keep Bruno, if you had a decision in your mind, bro, grow the fucking cojones, grow the balls, and make these decisions yourself. But I'll tell you what, they're not going to, because they're a bunch of cowards. It's not only this situation that we've seen it. We've seen it in the Ten Hag situation. We've seen it with the Ruben situation. We've seen it with all situations. They're a bunch of cowards. They have no fucking idea how to run this club. And this is why you're seeing what we're seeing. This is why. So, in all honesty, I don't know, bro. I don't think we get 100 million for him. I don't know. I don't know if we get 100 million from, but I'm at this point where it's like I don't even care how much money we get. Just get this fucker gone, man. Just get this guy gone. This guy is a captain and he's throwing his players under the bus, saying, I think other people don't value the club as much as I do. You know, I've done so much, this and that. Like, what have you done? What have you done? What? Let's actually break this down. What have you done for the club? You lost 2 Europa League finals. Cool. You saved us from relegation. Brother, we were in this situation with you. Everybody loves this whole savior thing. He's been saving us for all these years, this and that. Where would we be without? It's a thing that pisses me off the most. And I hear this all the time, whether it's on social media, whether I hear it in person. Where would we be without Bruno Fernandes? Cool. Where are we with Bruno Fernandes? I always say this in return. Where would we be without Bruno, right? Where are we with Bruno? Where? So regarding these Bruno quotes and all that type of stuff, one, Bruno Fernandes, you are a fucking liar. You are a liar because I just put up these quotes. You said 2 years ago, if you felt that the club doesn't want you, you will walk away. So why are you still here? Two, Ineos, you are a bunch of cowards as well. You're a bunch of fucking cowards. Why are you putting this decision into the hands of a manager who finished 15th and lost to fucking Spurs? Why? Grow some balls and make your own decisions. Anyways, big up to Doncy as well. Look at him being a fraud. He calls me a fraud, and then he says stuff like Bruno is your king. Well, Arteta is your king. How about that, Doncy? But big up to Doncy every single time. Make sure you guys do subscribe to Doncy's channel, Donversation TV. Make sure you guys do subscribe to my bro's channel, man. Every single time. Let's see. The bar's on the floor, 100% celebrating a player who took us out of relegation. These players got us into the relegation battle in the first place. Thank you, Ed. You get it. You get it. You get it, man. But our rest of the fan base doesn't. You know what's so funny? I'll tell you guys a little story. I talked about this on Mud Brothers yesterday. I went to a Manchester United game for the first time, right? I went to the West Ham game. Right before the game, I'm at a pub, just trying to be part of this like Manchester United, experience, match day experience, all of that. And also because I was not looking forward to what I was going to see. It was a dream come true. I've always wanted to go to Old Trafford and watch a game, but I wasn't even looking forward to the game, to be completely honest, because I know what I was going to see. And the game finished 1-1, and I was right. I was right with what eventually happened. So I'm sitting at a bar, I'm sitting at a pub, trying to get a little mashed up, a little fucked up because I'm not looking forward to what I'm seeing, but I just wanted to have a good experience. So I'm talking to this one guy for about like 45 minutes before the game. And he's sitting here telling me that I should give Ruben Amorim time because look at what Arteta's done. Generally, word for word, bar for bar. And look, if that guy ever watches this stream, bro, you're a great person. Like no offense to you at all, but I'm just critiquing your football opinion and I just disagree with it. That's why I'm going with it. But this guy says Ruben should get some time because look at what Arteta is doing with Arsenal and he was given time. My response to him was simple as this. What has Arteta done with Arsenal? What has he done? What has he done with them? Because from all these years that I've been seeing Arsenal, he spent close to 700 to 800 million. He finished 8th, 5th, 2nd. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They love to say this. Give him time. It's a process. All right. Sure. He finished 15th, and we should give him time. Oh, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And our fan, honestly, like I said this yesterday too. We deep down, bro, we honestly deserve every single thing that we're getting towards us because we have people like this in our fan base. We have people like this in our fan base who if you go against the club and if you don't back a manager, you're not a real Manchester United fan. Who are you to tell me that who are you? Are you the judge on who is a real Manchester United fan or not? Did you come up with this club? Are you the owner of this club? Are you like the head of the Manchester United fan base where you can tell me if I'm a real fan or not? Fuck you. You can't tell me shit because people try to tell me I don't go and watch games. Well, I went to Old Trafford and I watched a game. I went all the way from California all the way to Old Trafford with my hard-earned money, with with a lot of struggles, sacrifices, all of that. And I went and watched a game. So you can't tell me that I don't watch games and I don't go to games because I did go to a game. Second of all, who are you to tell me who's a real fan and who's not a real fan? Because I heard this. If you don't back Ten Hag, you're not a real fan. If you are too negative, you are this and that, all that type of stuff. I've heard this. But so just because I'm not backing the manager, just because I'm not backing a person who got us 15th last season, I'm a negative fan. Cool. And it's stuff like this which tells me we honestly deserve all this because this is who we have in our fan base. This is genuinely who we have. So, yeah, man, we're cooked. Last thing I would say about this whole Bruno thing, Bruno, you're a fucking liar, right? You are a fucking liar. And Ineos, you bottled this whole situation. This all these quotes and whatever he's saying wouldn't have happened if you just had some balls of your own and you just took this and made this decision yourself without looking at the manager, without all those type of things. You would look at a financial aspect of it. You were the ones who complained about not having money, and when there's 100 million sitting for you on the table, you said no. Like, think about this, guys. Whoever your crush is, right? Let me just take an example. Kylie Jenner, Margot Robbie. They pull up to your house naked, and you tell them to put their clothes back on. That's literally what Ineos did. 100 million is on the table, life-changing money for the club. We have not fucking sold a player for 100 million. The last time we sold a player for anywhere near that money was Ronaldo when he went to Madrid. And we had 100 million for Bruno. And he's not even going to Madrid, he's going to Saudi. Like, retirement league. And we said no to that. Oh man, dude, I couldn't tell you. I genuinely couldn't tell you. I genuinely couldn't fucking tell you. But anyways, moving on from this whole Bruno situation. Now, let's move on to another aspect of what we saw, another situation that we saw, and I'm going to quickly give my thoughts because I have to close out in the next 15 minutes or so. So, Mainoo's brother, right? KOBBIE Mainoo's half-brother, not even his real brother. KOBBIE Mainoo's half-brother, during the game, was spotted wearing a t-shirt saying "Free KOBBIE." Posted it on Instagram saying "Free KOBBIE Mainoo." So let me share this screen real quick so we guys can all look at this picture together. Un momento. So, "Free KOBBIE Mainoo." Free KOBBIE Mainoo. This is he's literally sitting damn near front row. He told whoever to take this picture, like, yo, bro, make sure you get a good picture of me. Make sure you get a good picture. Make sure you can see it says "Free KOBBIE Mainoo" on my t-shirt. Like, make sure that you can see all that type of stuff. And by the way, this guy's a half brother. He's not even his real brother. He's not even a real family member, right? And it's so funny because I did a little bit of deep diving and all that type of stuff too. When KOBBIE Mainoo signed a contract at Manchester United, this guy wasn't even there in the picture. You know how, when you sign a contract with your team, it's like a big moment, for the family, and like your parents are there, your siblings are there. You take a nice picture, with the family and with, the director, the sporting director, whoever is basically helping you sign this contract. This is what you do, right? This guy has not even been a part of any of those pictures. I swear this is the first. I'm going to be so honest. I didn't even know this guy had a half brother. I didn't even know this guy existed, if I'm being completely honest. So for him to come out and say something like this, bruh. But yeah, let me just give my thoughts on this real quick. One, it was just so unnecessary. Why would you put something like this? This just makes this whole situation for your half brother even worse. Like, if you genuinely have some sort of, love towards him and you actually feel this way about him, you wouldn't be doing stuff like this, because this is just going to bring more and more eyes on this situation. This is going to bring more and more eyes on KOBBIE. Like, KOBBIE have a shit performance in the next game. Everyone's going to get on to him. And everyone's going to get on to you. And this was just so unnecessary for you to do something like this in a situation like this. KOBBIE Mainoo actually played in this game too, for people who didn't know, who weren't able to watch this game. KOBBIE Mainoo actually had a good cameo. He came on and actually played pretty decent. But guess what? No one's going to talk about this performance that KOBBIE Mainoo had because of this. Because he decided to do something foolish like this. So I just think this was so uncalled for. Didn't need to do something like this, bro. If you genuinely love your half brother and you want to support him in this situation, doing something like this was not going to ever help him. If anything, it was always going to make things worse. Always. It was always going to make things worse. And I've been hearing some shit like, I heard this one guy on Twitter say, "Oh, but if this was Garnacho's brother, we would cook him, this and that," all that type of stuff. Bro, stop it. Give it a rest. Don't even bring up Garnacho's brother, because Garnacho's brother was leaking lineups. Garnacho's brother was leaking lineups. Garnacho's brother was literally coming out with quotes that were just false. And he was literally a fucking mole. Like, Garnacho and his brother were moles in our team. They would come out and just give out information in the press. This and that. Don't even compare him to Garnacho's brother. This whole situation is nothing even near that. Nothing even near that. So, it was Matty FC. I don't know if you guys know who Matty FC, like this American guy who's a United fan. He came out and said in one of his tweets that, oh, well, if this was Garnacho's brother, it would be different energy, this and that. Just shut the fuck up, man. Genuinely shut the fuck up. Well, how is that the first thing that comes to your mind when you see something like this too? Like, how? It's not anywhere remotely near that whole entire situation either. Garnacho's brother would come in, week out and say something. This is like the first time that we've seen something like this in this situation. So yeah, I just think it's ridiculous that someone would say something like that. Oh well, if this was Garnacho's brother, look at it would have been different, and it would have been this, and it would have been that. Like, bro, you're saying shit for clicks. So just shut the fuck up, because we see through it. We see through it. So yeah. So regarding this whole KOBBIE Mainoo situation, I think it's crazy, the way that he is honestly getting treated at this club. If he walks away tomorrow, I would wish him the best. And I would actually watch, him play at whichever team he goes, because I think he's a very, very, very good talent who's being literally wasted at our club. I felt the same way with Amad Diallo under Ten Hag last 2 seasons ago. And I feel the same exact way with KOBBIE Mainoo and Ruben. It just seems like the same exact situation. Same exact situation. So yeah. Don't know what to tell you. But yeah, regarding this whole situation, it was just wrong for him to do, and it was just so unnecessary. He really didn't have to do it. But cool. Moving on. 10 minutes or so before I do close out the stream. Make sure you guys do run up the likes, like the video, subscribe, all that type of stuff. Big up to everyone who's in the chat, who's being, active and asking good questions and all that type of stuff. And I really, really appreciate you guys a lot. Last part of the stream, Ruben's comments a little bit about the youth. Ruben's comments about us finding out that there was a system change apparently. And there was a system change specifically in this Bournemouth game. So I'll first go through not Bruno, sorry. Bruno just got me so fucking rattled. Ruben Amorim's comments about the youth. So let me do that real quick. Let's see. Okay, so basically, Ruben was asked if he rates KOBBIE Mainoo. Like, that was pretty much simply just the question. If he rates KOBBIE Mainoo, these were the quotes that were said by Ruben. So let's see right here. Okay, so Ruben Amorim asked if he rates KOBBIE Mainoo. Of course, but in the end, it's going to be the training, the games. Of course, he's not playing so many games, but KOBBIE has had opportunities, especially last year. Everyone has. Amas is now struggling in the championship. Cheeto is not always a starter in under 21. All these guys played a lot when a lot of people were saying sack the manager. So you can see I'm not worried. I just want to win. And if he's the right guy, I will put him in. So one, just completely false, because Amas is not struggling in the championship. Amas won the player of the week or the player of the month, if I'm not wrong, at Sheffield Wednesday. Because I'm pretty sure the comments will show something somewhere. Yeah, so player of the month for November. So Harry Amas wins player of the month as a left wing back in the championship for Sheffield Wednesday. but he's struggling. Okay. Um, and then two, we know he doesn't rate KOBBIE. We know he doesn't. We know he doesn't rate KOBBIE Mainoo, man. Like if he rated him, he would give him a lot more opportunities. Like KOBBIE has not even started a single game for us this season. He's played, I think, a total of just 225 minutes so far. So yeah, he does not rate him, bro. He does not rate him. So yeah, I think it's just really interesting and about how he's really speaking about our youth because I'm someone who has been very passionate about our youth, right? We are a club who's honestly been built on youth. Like class of 92 is a product of our youth, our products of our youth academy. The Busby Babes were product of our youth academy. And this guy is coming in and tarnishing it and basically saying stuff like, the youth really doesn't matter. If I feel like the youth player is a right guy, I will put him in. All these guys played a lot when everyone was saying sack the manager, this and that. Cool. We have always been a club that has taken the youth seriously. We've always been a club that has given young players opportunities to be into the first team. We saw Rashford in the past. We've seen so many, Beckham, class of 92, like I said, all these guys have come through our youth. And look at how successful they've been. And we're a club that's been built on that. And it's sad to see that we now have a coach at our club who's running something like this into the ground. And honestly, he has no fucking clue. He just doesn't get this club at all, bro. He really, really doesn't. And he's going away from the morals and the principle that this club has been built on. And it's really, really sad to see because there are fans in this fan base who still back him. Even after all these things that are being said by the manager, they still back him. And it's crazy. You'd rather back him over your own club. This guy is basically saying he's running our youth to the ground. He's not going to give youth the chance. If he feels that someone is a good player, he will put them in. And you see all these things and you hear all these things and you still back him. This guy is going against our club and you're still backing him. I don't know. This is why I said earlier that we deserve every single thing that comes towards us, man. We really do. Because we have people like this in our fan base. How is it ever going to change if you have people like this in your fan base who enable and back all this type of shit, man? How is it ever going to change? Like, how is it genuinely ever going to change? So, yeah. And then the 4-3-3, I think it's just so fucking convenient now. All of a sudden, you want to try the 4-3-3. Why weren't you trying the 4-3-3 last year when you were actually given the Premier League as a time to experiment a lot of things and as a time to experiment, these players to figure out who can play where, if they can play in a system, all of that. You had time to adapt when things weren't going right, and it was clear as day that the system is just not working. With these players, you had the opportunity and the time then to try something. Why are you trying this now? Why are we ending off a game with a 4-3-3 against Bournemouth in the Premier League midway through the 2025-2026 season? Why? Why didn't you do this in the Europa League final? Why didn't you do this when we were 15th? And you also said you wouldn't change the system. But now, all of a sudden, what's forced you to change it? I genuinely want to know, like, what made you have this thought in your head that, I think we should set up as a 4-3-3. Fuck a 4-3-3. There were people who were telling me that we were actually set up as a 4-4-2 at times, that Sesko and Mbeumo were playing as our strikers. Fucking hell, dude. Fucking hell. We are just like all fucking over the place, bro. It's just crazy, bro. We are so all over the place. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know if they're gonna sack this guy, when they will sack this guy. I don't know what's gonna happen. All I'm gonna tell you this though is that it's going to get bad, very ugly. I think things can get bad at Manchester United really, really, really soon. If you're hearing shit from Bruno, talking about our board and calling them out, and then you're hearing shit from the manager going against our youth, I think our fan base is gonna a lot of the people are going to turn. They are. And it's gonna get toxic, and it just all leads to one avenue, which I knew was gonna happen in the first place. He was not going to stay this entire year, and I don't think he stays this entire season. I think he gets sacked, maybe at the end of the season. I don't think he's there next summer. That's something I will tell you. But you're hearing all these things and you're seeing all these things, and they're still gonna end up giving him all that time, and they're gonna end up sacking him at the end of the season. So yeah, should have sacked him at the start of this season. Should have sacked him yesterday. Should have sacked him an hour ago. Should have sacked him 5 minutes ago. Should have sacked him 30 seconds ago. Should have sacked him a second ago. That's what I would say about all of that. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly discuss and give my thoughts on all of these things. Whether you're watching this back or whether you're watching this live, thank you guys for all the support. Thank you guys for just listening to me, giving me a platform, allowing a guy from California to speak his mind about Manchester United. Because this type of shit pisses me off, and I like that you guys give me a platform because it allows me to go and argue with these type of people, and it allows me to go and debate with these type of people, and it's very important for us to spread this message about all these type of situations and all these type of things. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm not saying I know it all. I'm not that type of person. But I am one who will always have an opinion and will always, express my opinion on these type of things, because there's a lot of cowards out there who say a lot of these things online and who chat and who, type all these things. But when it comes to having an actual cordial debate face to face, they don't show up. But I'm not like that. And I will always be here for those type of debates. And I will always voice my opinion. So Manchester United, this past week, fucking hell, dude. There's been so much going on with this club. Bruno quotes, Mainoo's brother, Ruben's quotes, system change, all that type of stuff. Regarding the system, I don't care how we play. Whether it's 4-3-3, whether it's a back five, I want this guy gone, bro. I don't care how we play. So get this guy gone. It needs to happen soon. We play Villa next. I pray. We're not only are we playing Villa, but we're basically playing the most informed team in the Premier League currently at this moment. They beat the table toppers. They've won 9 games in a row, and we're going to their ground next. So yeah, I know H. Shout out to my bro H. He'll always tell you that this game could be sticky. It could be tough because they don't have a good record against us. This and that in the past couple of years. I just think we're gonna get rolled over, and this game could be a big loss, big loss. So we'll see. And plus, AFCON, we're missing some of our better players in the team. We're missing our entire right hand side, by the way. And Buemo and Ahmad are going for AFCON. So is Mazarawi, and they're gone. So we're gonna see who we're gonna play. Starting 11, I expect him to probably play Sesko. I expect him to play maybe Mason Mount. Maybe Bruno plays on the right side of the Ted. Cunha is there. Maybe I think Mainoo will play because Casemiro is suspended. He picked up a yellow card in the Bournemouth game, so he probably won't start against Villa. So maybe Mainoo plays, but that's only a matter of time until Casemiro is back. And it'll be Casemiro and Bruno again. So maybe Bruno plays, which, by the way, if he plays Bruno and Mainoo, holy shit. Like, we're going to fucking struggle anyways in that midfield. But then if he plays Bruno and Ugarte, that's even more fucking annoying and even more fucking stupid. But yeah, it is what it is. We're probably going to see that. And then defense-wise, maybe Martinez plays. I think one of Euro and Heaven gets dropped because of their performance in the last game. Dello's still going to start. Dorgu is still going to play if he does play. And Lamens will be in goal. So I'm not really looking forward to that game. We will be there. I'll be there for the watch along on Flawless's channel, Sarcasm City TV. I'll be here for the match reaction and all that type of stuff too, but I'm not looking forward to that game. And our club is in just absolute shambles, man. Genuinely. Like, all these things and quotes just point me to the fact that everything is going to blow up really, really soon. Really, really soon, everything is going to blow up. So yeah, that's what I would say about that. But yeah, big up to everyone. We're gonna close out. Thank you guys all for tuning in. This was Stretford Chronicles, a show where we talk and discuss everything about Manchester United throughout the week. Big up for everyone in the chat for running up the likes. If you were watching, engaging, asking questions, all that type of stuff. Thank you guys all for all the support, man. And it's great to be back. I'm so glad to be back. I missed streaming, and I missed. I didn't miss talking about United. I'll tell you that, but I did miss streaming. But we're here, man. We're here, and thank you guys for all the support. I should be back maybe this weekend for the game and all that type of stuff. Maybe I'll do a preview on Saturday, so we'll see. We'll see how all that type of stuff will go. But yeah, thank you guys for all the support. I will catch you guys sooner or later on someone else's channel, maybe. But this has been the Stretford Chronicles episode on Shik TV, where we discussed. We first started off the episode with Bruno Fernandes and his quotes. Then we talked about KOBBIE Mainoo for a little bit and ended it off with Ruben Amorim's quotes about the youth and the potential system change. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Big up to everyone, and I will catch you guys all sooner or later. I hope you guys all have a great, blessed week and stay safe. And as always, Ruben Amorim out.